And again, the talk of the town right now is just how warm it really feels in the Triad. And this is something that we don't always think about when it comes to January, but it's not unheard of. I was doing a little digging here with our weather data, as we like to do. We have weather records, by the way, that go all the way back to 1903 in Greensboro. And so, the thing that we were looking at today was how warm it was, and most of us hit that 70-degree mark, or at least close to it, depending on where you were. The official high in Greensboro was 71, by the way. So how rare is that? When it comes to the month of January, do 70s happen? You might think, gosh, this probably never happens. Well, it does. It's just not something you see every year. So if we look back at our Januaries, again, we go all the way back to the 1920s with weather records in Greensboro, about 40% of those years, 40% of those Januaries, they do tend to have a 70-degree day. Usually it's just one. There are a couple on there that have more than one, maybe as many as 5, once or twice. But about 60% of the Januaries had none of them. So you could kind of work that out in a couple of different ways, but basically once every 2 years, you tend to have a 70-degree day in January. We didn't have one last year. We got one right here, right now. And it's still possible we could challenge it yet again as our winter break continues going into Saturday. So again, that record high of 71 degrees, set back in 1913. That was the first time we did it, 1982. And when we talk about a record high, we're meaning the daily record. So a record high is for January 7th. You look at all the January 7ths that we've been able to keep weather records, and yes, this is at the top, tied with 2 other years. So that's the weather for today. Earlier today too, we had this thick fog around our area. We're not going to have to deal with that tonight, but that could be back coming up on our Friday. So more on that in just a second. There's a quick look at your numbers, a few things I'll point out to you. Notice how close our average high is to our average low. Both of them are very close to one another. The record low is 5. The record high, 71. So that 5-degree record low, coincidentally, that was about my first or second day here at WFMY. 2014, so I guess it's been about 12 years. 5:21, by the way, that's your new sunset, so our days, they do continue to get a little bit longer. Futurecast, why are we going to be cooler tomorrow? Well, first things first, we're going to be cooler tomorrow. The reason for that has to do with right here. We're having high pressure slide in. Throughout the day today, we were able to tap in to warmth that was off to our south and to the west with a southwest wind. That's not the case anymore going into tomorrow. So a new high pressure sliding in, it'll change our wind direction. It cuts off the airflow a little bit. So it's still a warm day. We have a great chance to get to the upper 50s and low 60s, but it'll feel a little bit less warm, a little less extreme, if you will. So I have us right there around 63 for the high. There will be some clouds around as well, but it's a dry day. After that, we start to watch more interestingly to the west, and that's where we have some rain and storms. You look across the southeast going into Friday, there will be several areas that have to be watched for showers, but also for thunderstorms. So you look at places like Arkansas and Louisiana, Mississippi and Tennessee. These are areas that do have some concern for maybe some severe weather. Kind of a rule of thumb, if it's really warm in a month that it's not supposed to be, that can be when you get in trouble with strong or severe weather. And that might be the case on Friday for these areas. So those are the spots that have the risk of severe weather going into the end of the week. If you have friends or family in the Memphis area, maybe Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi, those are spots that could be under the gun for storms. For us, I don't really see that as a big concern. Certainly not for Friday. Saturday, maybe some rumbles of thunder, but it doesn't look to be quite as favorable for severe weather here in the Carolinas. More on that in just a second. Here's Friday, though. Again, clouds will probably be pretty thick for a little while during the day. Temperatures will struggle to warm up at first because of the fog and the clouds. So we go to Friday afternoon. Notice there is some rain. It's mostly starting to move in to the west here from Asheville to Boone and maybe the foothills. So yes, there is a chance for a few showers on Friday. And I've actually bumped that in our forecast a little bit. Friday evening and Friday overnight and into early Saturday, this is when scattered rain showers will get a little bit more likely. So rain could be something that starts your day on Saturday, especially for areas north and west of Greensboro. Lesser chance of that south and east, okay? So it does depend on where you are. Going throughout the daytime on Saturday, our model, it doesn't go out fully just yet, but this is the cold front, and you can see it. It's kind of working its way into the western part of the Carolinas by around lunchtime on Saturday. So by dinner time, it should be closer to Charlotte and the Triad. The problem with that, of course, is we have outdoor events and things you might be worried about. It'll be warm. We can guarantee it's warm on Saturday. There'll be some clouds around. The rain potential for Saturday, you have that morning chance in the foothills, and then the afternoon it'll kind of just slide by all of us. This is a cold front, and behind that front, there is going to be the potential of a big drop and going into winter weather. If you're worried about the Panther game, there's good reason to be a little concerned. I think there will be some rain around, especially in the first half of play, maybe a rumble of thunder. And if you have any of that lightning or thunder concern, there could be a stoppage of play. So that'll be something to watch out for. As far as our weekend across the Triad area, temperatures will be very warm on Saturday. It'll be cloudy, and there'll be that risk of a couple showers every now and again. Going into Sunday, that's when things change. And, if you think winter is over, you just don't really have the long view. You don't really have the full picture, because in the Carolinas, don't be fooled by these warm winter days. We can get them. We sure can get them, but it doesn't mean that winter is over, and it doesn't mean that cold air isn't coming back. I think it will. And I think it starts on Sunday with a gusty wind, and heading into early next week, that's when mornings below freezing start to return back to our area. So a lot going on in the forecast. We'll have more on that in about 2 minutes.